Okay, good evening, everyone. It is now 5:30, so we'll go ahead and get started with the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting today. Roll call, Mayra Reyes.
Fanny Valencia.
Michael Engel.
David Ballard. Bob Elverson.
Thank you. And we'll go, did we have any public comments? There are no public comments tonight. And on to informational items with Dr. Engel.
Sure. We're going to start out tonight with donations. We've got donations for including knitted hats, gloves, and scarves from Yarney's group of living at Fox Knoll Village for students at Oak Park Elementary. Our next donation is a food donation from Leo Ortega and Periente Mix for Oak Park Elementary. The next one that we have are 2 bicycles from the Keystone Lodge, number 15, as part of the Reading for Rides initiative at Oak Park Elementary as well. We also have 2 more bicycles from the Keystone Lodge for students at Beaupre Elementary. The next one, we have 2 trumpets and 2 saxophones from Sunny Mirror Community Living for East High. We have a $100 donation from Aurora Deli Delight Inc. for the school fun fair at Simmons Middle School. We have a $475 from Mary C. Smith for the school fun fair at Simmons Middle School. We also have a $900 from Brian Taylor for the Once a Tomcat, Always a Tomcat for students at East High. And we also tonight have a $2,000 from the Navy League of the United States Aurora Council for the NJROTC program at East High. Those are the donations for.
Awesome.
Any questions on those?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay. The next part is our monthly financial reports. I put in the monthly financials for February 2026. They're in there. So you'll have the revenue, expenses, and fund balances for FY 26 through the end of February. And there's also the payroll report for the month of February 2026 included. Any questions on those?
No questions.
Okay. I'm going to start going into the other one. I just realized that all of this is me tonight, so I'm going to take my time. So the first thing that we have on the list there is the transfer of funds. If you guys will remember, when we had Crow come out at the last board meeting, they mentioned getting our Fund 60, which are capital project funds, balanced out to 0 again. To give you a little bit of history of Fund 60, once you put money in, it has to be expended. So we usually leave it not all the way filled, because once it's in, it can never come out except for capitalized projects. So it's like a one-way stuck. So we will be transferring, and there's 2 resolutions. One's an abatement of working cash, and the other one is a transfer from Fund 20, which is buildings and grounds, into Fund 60. And it follows the resolution that's in there. And there's also within the memo, there's a timeline that's included as well. So this would be going for action on April 20th, and doing this timeline also goes right into like the next part, which would be like the amending of the budget, because it's moving more than 10% of any one fund. So we would have to amend the FY 26 budget as well, and the timelines coincide with one another. The last time we did this was in 2024. It followed the same timelines. So within the memo, it's a 60-day timeline that takes us through April 20th, which would be present the abatement and resolutions and transfer resolutions with the full board. That night, the Board of Education would take the resolutions, adopt the abatement resolution, and transfer the resolution. The tentative budget would be presented with transfers reflect on the April 20th board meeting as well. And then on April 21st, the next day, the tentative amended budget would be on display, not for less than 30 days. We'd also put out a public notice for public hearing in the newspaper for June 1st. And then on June 1st, we'd have a public hearing and then approval of the FY 26 amended budget on June 1st as well. So the two of them kind of go hand in hand. Any questions on that?
Yeah, so you said the last time this happened was in 2024.
For the exact same reason.
Cycle for that?
Or
what does it depend on?
Typically, when we bottom out Fund 60 for capitalized projects, we go out and do it again. Yeah.
So there's no like set schedule. It just depends when it.
No. Every time that we move more than 10% of funds, especially within Fund 60, or going in and out, it causes an automatic amendment of the budget because you're moving more than 10%.
Right.
But really, it's going to be on audit recommendation, and best practice is to once you've spent the money, to go in and bring it back to zero again.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions on that one?
No.
Okay. The next one, Part D there is the FY26 amended budget, which I just kind of followed the timeline of, but I'm also going to include within the memo itself. One of the first things that we could do while we're doing this is we can finally update the beginning fund balances for the FY25 AFR, since we just got it from the auditors, so they'll match exactly. The second part would be obviously the transfer of Fund 20 into Fund 60 and Fund 70 into Fund 60 to reflect the audit adjustments. And then the third, if we wanted to, we can update the finalized state and federal funding, so we can have exact numbers in there as well. And then lastly would be the evidence-based funding, now that we have an actual versus the estimated. The actual was 160, almost 163 million, and the budget was 168. But we went from tier 1 to tier 2, and this would be reflected in there as well.
Okay.
And again, it follows the same timeline. Any questions on that? Okay.
No.
All right, the next one is Bentech. So I know we've talked about Bentech before, but we're looking for an integration partner that talks between benefits, payroll, and our census data for healthcare, dental, vision, pet insurance, any type of additional life insurance that we have. That also, the program would benefit an 834 file for us to automatically give out to the vendors each weekly. And this program, I like it a lot because it actually does that three-way triangle. So it does a checks and balances among the three different things, meaning that everybody's payroll deductions are actually matching exactly what they elected for, and they do it forwards and backwards. Versus right now, we are just doing it off of an open enrollment one-time platform, and then manually, if there's a life event or any type of change, which can lead to erroneous errors that do pop up, if not kept up and maintained properly. This program also is the preferred sister vendor, if you will, of Skyward. We wanted to reach out to several large unit districts as well that are using it. We reached out to 214 and also Angie across the river at 129. They have nothing but success stories so far with this product. So I'm really looking forward to it and doing a good job of implementing it now that we have the timeline between whenever the board approves this and next open enrollment, which should be for November 2026. So we've got about a 6-month runway, which is more than plenty of time.
Okay. And are we set on this one, or will we be?
So that's a great question. We did reach out to several others. We reached out to Business Solver as well. It was a much higher price point. I want to say this one all in was approximately about 95 grand. When Business Solver for our district of our side was over $200,000. There was much more money. Yeah. And again, this pairs really nicely. This is more of a technology based, and it pairs really nicely with Skyward integration with our financial software as well.
Was it a recommendation from Skyward?
Highly, yes.
Okay.
It was recommended 2 weeks prior to us going out to open enrollment. So, which was not enough runway for us to implement it at that time.
Right.
But now going back, doing the research, seeing what's out there in the marketplace, this is definitely what's going to work out long-term and best interest of the district for sure. Any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. The next one, we have food service equipment. As you guys will remember, we went about 2 months ago in front of the board. I think it was back in February for kitchen equipment over at Howard Kitchen, a production kitchen for the elementaries, which Whitson's uses for their production kitchen. And we said that we'd come back with the Waldo and East High. Well, we are back, and there's some positive news within there as well. So this would be hitting the FY27 budget because we did not have the money in the FY26 budget to do all three of them. So this is going to be for next year's budget, but it's going to be taking place over this summer. Okay. The numbers came back the same at Waldo Kitchen of $88,884.28. So that was no change. But at East High, the kitchen equipment total actually came back at about $40,000 less. It came back at 210,305.09. So it was favorable going out one more time again and having everybody sharpen their pencils and give us their best and final offer. So this is where they're at. The multiple quotes we solicited out there, we had 5 for the Waldo kitchen, 5 different quotes that came in. And then we had 2 for East High for the kitchen equipment. And in there, you can kind of see all the quotes. I've attached them all, very transparent in there. And there are recommendations for the 2 different companies for the 2 individual kitchens. And this would be a timeline for decision on the April 20th. So it would drop down for April 20 for decision. It's about a 12 to 13 week lead time, meaning that they would be here in July and installed late July, early August, right before school starts.
Would that be enough time?
It's tight, but we're going to make it happen because it's not a question of if, it's now and we need it. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Any questions on those?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So the next part is kind of a 2-part process. We're going to go through each individual company first. So the recommendation, this is for the amended food service contract with Sodexo to include the fresh fruits and vegetables grant. If we were to apply and get it for next year, this would affect their next year contract with the district. There's no cost. It's just an amendment to their contract. We need to do this for the State Board of Education Child Nutrition Program to have it as part of their contract. Any questions on that?
No, I saw that it's district-wide, right? Not specific school.
So Sodexo would be doing the 3 middle schools and the high school, and then the next contract is through Whitson's, which they're here tonight.
Okay.
And this would be an amendment to their contract as well to include the fresh fruits and vegetable grant for next year. That's the next one coming up. I had to do these separate.
Yeah.
Whitson's is for the correct. It's all the elementaries plus Coward Middle School as their
Oh.
production kitchen.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on Sodexo?
No.
Okay. The next one is identically, but for Whitson's. Any questions or I think I just explained them both at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
No.
all right. So now that we went through the amendment part, so this is the recommendation to approve the food service contract renewal with Sodexo, including the middle schools and high school for the 26-27 school year. We did put in the amount for their meal cost, respectively, both for lunch, for breakfast and for lunch. It's 100% reimbursement from the USDA. It's part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and we put in their rates in there as well. And again, this would drop for action on the 20th. Are there any questions for Whitson's? For Sodexo? I can go through the meal rates if you want me to.
You know what? Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah,
and do
we can
that,
go through the
if you
meal
don't mind.
rates. So currently, right now for lunch, the meal rate is $4.54. Hold on, let me see. Reimbursements rates for this year are $4.54, and for breakfast they're $2.84. Their pricing for breakfast is $2.33 and 39 after the cents. So I gotta love this. Okay, their lunch is $4.47 and 48 10,000ths of a cent, if you will. Okay, they're both of them are underneath the food service reimbursable rate as well. So that is for Sodexo. We can go to Whitson's next if you guys don't have any questions for those. And it was a simple 3%. It's what it's called for in the contract. So it was a 3% increase over last year's meal rates.
Okay. Is that pretty typical?
It was built into the contract.
Okay.
There's usually the CPI, food away from home, and then the urban index, if I remember correctly. So those would be the 3 different indices, and we chose CPI. Okay. So, and not with a not to exceed. So, any questions on that one?
No.
Okay. It's going to be identical here, except for this is for Whitson's contract. And again, their meal rates are different than Sodexo's, which I can go through as well. So again, the meal rate reimbursement from the state is $4.54 for lunch and $2.84 for breakfast. and Whitson's came in at $2.56 and 4/10 of a hundredth, I guess we call it that, for breakfast, and $4 and 237 respectively for lunch.
Okay.
Okay. And again, same timeline, same thing, April 20th for action that night. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions on that one?
No.
All right. So the next one that we have is this is with working with our attorney. We came up with an RFQ for employee benefits broker. So this would be a request for qualification that would be put out for anything from healthcare to related eye care to related dental, any type of additional beans, if you will, any type of additional insurances that would go on the medical side that we would have as elections going forward that would obviously stay forward with our current CBA. They would not be diminished anything. It would just be, here's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking at to get some competitive pricing. The district has not gone out in 15 plus years for competitive pricing or brokers for healthcare related services and consulting services. So this is best practice and should have been done a while ago as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. And again, a timeline, we're looking to come back through the selection process for the May 18th board meeting. So that would be in about 2 months from now to come back with a selection. Okay. And that'd be coming through the insurance committee. All right.
Highlight for the board members for me, the insurance committee, the structure of that, and kind of how we work through that process. If you could,
Sure.
please. Thank you.
It's made up of union representation, typically union leadership representation, a few members of cabinet, and our benefits coordinator as well. So we kind of sit, we meet, we go through different opportunities and or challenges that are coming up, and we come to consensus and make decisions based on that way, and then make that recommendation to the board for final approval.
Okay.
As a joint effort, it's a joint committee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Okay. So the next one is very similar. It's also a request for qualifications for liability insurance, property, workman's compensation as well, and consulting services. Again, it's been 15 plus years since we've done this, and this is for pretty much all the rest of the insurances that aren't health related, if you will. So we're going to be going through the same process. And again, that timeline would take place roughly about May 18th would be the same for final decision. But it also incorporates the same insurance committee for that as well.
Okay. And I saw that the RFPs are posted tomorrow.
We're going to get them out there tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to get them
Okay.
published and everything else. Yes, that's going to be the timeline.
Great.
Dr. Engel, could you also highlight the fact what we're looking at as far as the length of the contract that we're looking at and how we're trying to make that change a little bit from the 12-month to 18-month to get us on the cycle
Correct.
as needed?
So that's a great point, Dr. Halverson. So I'm going to go back to the healthcare. So instead of it being on a 12-month with a January 1 start date going through December 31st, we're looking at the first year contract actually being an 18-month contract to get us back on the school calendar cycle.
Okay.
Because there's nothing a little bit more challenging than halfway through the year, your rates are changing.
Yeah.
And it makes budgeting from my standpoint very difficult because we don't know what those budgetary numbers are going to be for the second half. We're
Right.
guessing based on trend. And I will tell you over the last few years, they've gone up more than I would want them to be quite honest. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. We'll have a lot more accurate budgeting when it comes to healthcare benefits. But again, casualty, life insurance, and all the rest of them would be on the school year calendar. So workman's comp as well. So it follows the same suit, except their contract is going to be a 12-month, not an 18.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. It'll be 18-month the first year, then after it'd be 12-month renewing. So, all right. And for the broker services, it's a 3-year broker arrangement and agreement for 3 years. That way we can evaluate.
What's the recommended cadence for RFPs of this nature?
That's a great question. 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah, sort of like student enrollment projections, population about every 3 to 5 as well. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason why we didn't do this sooner?
It's a great question. I
Okay.
don't have an answer for you at this time.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. All right. The next one is kind of more housekeeping. It's the recommendation to approve the audit engagement. I know we just finished an audit, but we're about to start a new one. So this is the engagement letter from Crow. This is for the FY26 audit, which quite honestly will be starting at the end of May, early June. And I feel like we just finally said goodbye to them at the last meeting, but they'll be back in 6 weeks. So it's a 4% increase over last year's. The total is in there. It's $91,500. And again, the timeline is April 20th, dropping for action. Okay. Any questions?
Does the is the audit going to be the same, or is it going to be auditing different things?
That's a great question. Every year it's slightly different. They're looking for different things. There's also different GASB implementations each and every year that we have to qualify for and actually live within. This year we had 3 new GASB qualifiers, if you will, that we had to pass as well. So each year it gets a little bit more stringent on what we need to produce, what we need to keep track of. And so yes, there's going to be, they're always looking for, I'd say generically the same 90%, but that extra 10% could be anywhere else.
Anything?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
All right. And I think that is everything that I have for tonight. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything else for the good of the order? No? Okay. At 5:52, I adjourn the meeting.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.